Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. This guy is such a jerk. And the thing is, I am pro choice. For my body, pro life. But to me, it's like, mind your business. It's like if another woman, because how come a lot of people who are brainwashed into and the thing is, I'm a Christian, but now I'm no longer brainwashed because a lot of the crazy, stupid, idiotic, ignorant things they say, yeah, brainwashing. And with my upbringing in the church, almost every single Sunday, all the church conventions, like special sermons and events and things, I went. And I was brought up to be forced to think pro-life, and I was stuck with the illusion of what pro-life was. And like even doing more research, last week I learned about with Planned Parenthood. I think only, okay, don't quote me on this because I forgot the exact percentage, but I believe it's like 5 to 10% of women who go to Planned Parenthood are pregnant. Most of them are pap smears. Most of them are for like OBGYN type of issues, type of things to get tested and things like that. It is for women's health. It is for our health and our benefit. So we can live. If you want to be pro-life, you should encourage Planned Parenthood because they help us with things that we need. And also people who are having miscarriages. So yeah, not with some of those pregnancies, some of them they might want the child, but they're having difficulties, or there might be just something and an issue that will not allow them or the baby to survive. So to me, I'm just like, your business. Mind it, okay? Because this child, I don't even want to say, I'll probably say his name later in the episode, but this guy gets on my nerves. Like this Charlie, because, and I understand he had this one woman as a representative, as an example, and to me, I'm just like, okay, she chose, and even like the host, I adore her, she's amazing, but Mm. The woman in her little speech thing said she chose. That was her choice. She chose to do it. She was able to do that. She was strong enough to do it. Good for you, boo boo. Good for you. Not every woman is able to do that, but then also some women give up the child to adoption and foster homes, but then a lot of them are not adopted. But then it's crazy how, like, even with my dating life, because, I tell you guys why men hate me. And 98% of them, I'm proud of them hating me for it. Because it's either bigotry with either my race or me having a disability. Ooh, the bigotry with a disability. Ooh. But it's also so many. Do you know how many men have either pretended like, oh yeah, I can deal with, like, you're educated, yeah, I don't like it, but you're so cool, and oh yeah, we can conversate, and over time, like, you already know about Thomas, he broke up with me because, like, I was so excited because I was publishing my second children's book, and he already knew about my novel, and I even let him read a chapter or two of my novel. But it wasn't until he saw that I published the second children's book that he was like, oh yeah, all of a sudden I will never be man enough to be with you or whatever. But you don't know how many and then the guy, after I finished my bachelor's and I just got into grad school and I was so excited, like after what my mom said, and I still have mental trouble, like, that's going to be a great sheep episode, but it's like, parents, pay attention to what you say to your child. If you think something, keep that in your mind and think about it, observe it before you say it. Even if you're silent, or sometimes silence is blissful. Sometimes silence helps that person not have to go to therapy. Because even something happened this past weekend where a family member said something and I responded, but then another family member had the nerve to tell me, oh well, everybody's parents or everybody's, like, was like, No, 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 no. Slow up, back up. What? So I'm gonna get on that on a different day, a different. But be careful with what you say to your children, because someday when they start dating, they're like, sometimes the way the parents treat their child is sometimes how they date, or sometimes how, like, it creates patterns, and or the low expectations of what they see in the person, like when they're attracted to man, woman, whatever. Because I was used to people thinking I was dumb, thinking I was worthless, thinking that I was just like especially like even with Mr. Lockakey, when he blackmailed me to date him, I thought, oh, well, I'm not much anyways, because of all of the awful, terrible, stupid, ignorant things my parents told me. How they told me I wasn't smart enough, good enough, and how I wasn't, like, I was just fat, and how I was just like all of the terrible, awful things. And even when I finished my second master's, even after I finished it, my mother said I had to show her the proof. And not only that, when I got it in the mail of like my credits and everything like that, she wanted to open it so she can make sure that I wasn't trying to, like, and that started because, yeah, I'm kind of off subject, but it's going to circle right around because, yeah, when all of this stuff happens, like, and then I start dating, I start picking awful, terrible men. So get ready, buckle up. But all of this happened was because I was accused of being a liar all of my life because of how I walked. I was punished in so many ways, so many times. Trust me, oh, when I finally get to a therapist, I'm probably going to be like, okay, here's a little extra, get yourself a drink after our session. That's how traumatizing and everything. Yeah. But the fact of it was, I was I dated a guy who blackmailed me, told me he was going to eliminate himself from the earth if I didn't date him. But then I thought, oh well, since no one is ever going to want me, love me, or marry me, that was my purpose. I'm supposed to just help this guy. No one's ever going to want me anyway, so I might as well date this guy, because no one is ever going to want any type of relationship with me, because I'm worthless. Because I'm worthless. It's like, that's what I learned all throughout my life, that I was worthless. Yeah. And so, when, even with the grad school thing, and when I got in, I was so excited. I told my mother, and she was like, "Why in the hell did you do that for?" Oh, I will never forget that day. Never forget that. I even remember what she wore on that day. I even remember what she wore, and I remember what I made for dinner, because since I finished my bachelor's, I was at home. My mom said I had to cook dinner every day and clean up around the house and all this other stuff. Even remember what she was wearing and what I made for dinner that day. Won't forget, because I remember the heartbreak. I remember it because I had to finish heating everything up, and then after dinner was done, I remember going upstairs and just bawling and crying. I will never forget that day. And so when I go out with this guy and I tell him, because I'm like, oh, well, I had a terrible situation with my mom. It's like, maybe at least, he will, uplift or congratulate or whatever. If you've been listening to the episodes, you already know this example very well. He told me either I date him or I go for my master's, but he does not want to do anything with a smart woman, and he's never going to date a smart woman. Do you know how many men have told me this? Do you know how many men have told me this? Do you know how many, especially black men? Yes, I'm drag like, because it's like, it's crazy how black men always want to drag the black women, and they always say black women want too much and all of this other stuff. But then when black women try to strive, try to learn, try to do, and try to achieve different goals and dreams, they don't want anything to do with us. But then they want a woman. But no, they only want a woman that obeys them. So that's when they turn into passport bros, because they don't want the independent black woman. They don't want a woman with their own opinions and views and like different like goals and things like that. They just want a woman that will, get on their knees and then make them a sandwich afterwards. That's what a lot of them want and need. And it's like, oh, I keep saying, I will be uploading some more screenshots once I have time. I'm trying to finish the novels. Yes, novels, plural. And also my children's books. I have more of those to put up and get my Etsy store together and the greeting cards. Like I've been busy. I've been busy. But parents, you have to understand cause and effect. That's kind of a main theme of my whole channel is because with my life, with a lot of the things that's happened, like while growing up, I would be like, why do I date these guys? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? Why do I hate myself so much? Why do I just think like so many things? But then I think about my dating experiences and how those connect to the trauma of my parents and even the trauma of applying for jobs because since I walk differently, but I wasn't diagnosed, and then like they're telling me, "Oh, just go to the doctors, just walk it off, just do the like, get yourself fixed, and then come back for a position." Always getting told I was never good enough or I was too good. Oh, you don't want this job, you're overqualified. You don't want this job. Why apply here? No, start off at a better job than this. But then when I tell them I need the work experience, oh just skip it. Like you don't want to work here. And then getting that told over and over again while either being asked, where are you really from? No, where are your parents from? No, where are they really? Like, okay, yes, I'm black, but and then even with my resume, a lot of them didn't believe that a black woman was able to achieve all the things that I have achieved. So then when I walk in the room, they act like I was like, gotcha, tricked you. And so with all of that, it makes sense to why I ended up dating the awful, terrible jerks that I've dated. Mr. Lakaki, which I've mentioned in this episode and throughout so many episodes, he is the Olive Garden guy. He's the one who literally tried to get me arrested on purpose for his crime and even told me, I'm a white man, you're a black woman. Who do you think the cops are really going to believe? Yeah. And then the one guy, Mr. Snodgrass, oh, he told me that I had to quit my job or date him. He didn't want to, like, yeah, I've already told that story, so catch up. But now I'm going to get to why the Charlie, because I've dated, I'm also like a lot, but not a lot. Most of them were on dating apps. Like, I was able to either filter them out ahead of time where I'm just like, thank God I never met these guys. But then at the same time, either socializing or at work or whatever, it's like guys would ask me out and I'm like, okay, cool. But it's crazy how at my church they were like, oh well, women date for safety, security, and all this other stuff. Mhm. I was dating so I can have kids because throughout my life I learned never to trust a man. But at the same time, being a church woman, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to trust a man so I can have kids. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm adopting or I'm going to be a foster mom. Skip that. Yes, I did want to have a kid the natural way or the traditional way, but I can't trust any of these men. I know I got to give some examples. And it's probably going to be a part two. Like, how many times do I not give a part two? But I remember, I told you one of the examples over, I think about a year ago, where I matched up with a guy on Plenty of Fish. And at first, it's like, I don't know, it's like a lot of the guys, and I realized if I'm not that attracted to a guy, just ignore him. I don't have to say hello. Like, there were some guys who said you have to say hello. If a guy writes you, you have to say hello. And so, like, I believed that my, let's see, until like after I broke up with Mr. Lakaki. Oh, he taught me no, because even with him, I wasn't attracted to him. But I was like, oh, I'll say hello. I'll be because I'm very bubbly and friendly, and I love at least meeting new people, even if we're not a match. I'm like, I'll say hi. We can talk, we can chat or whatever, while we both are looking for someone we match with. After the nightmare, that stupid idiot. No, heck no. The nightmare. But there was that other guy who asked me out, and He kept like when we he told me where his address was and we met, and I thought, okay, I'll follow him to the restaurant. He told me no. But yeah, it's like you if you've been listening, you'll kind of know which one this is. But this is basically the one where there was like yeah, catch up goat. I forgot what I named it though, but it probably has restaurant in the title. But basically, there was the bus boy who has Down syndrome. He was such a sweetheart. If I could, I know I would never be able to find him, but I adore you. I love you. You're amazing. You're such a sweetheart, and you did such an amazing job that night. And thank you for um getting through that hard. Like, oh, it's like if I wasn't gonna get arrested, I would have knocked the mess out of him, out of my date for you, because I really wanted to. I really wanted to, but I didn't want to get arrested. That's the only reason I didn't. But okay. I don't think I really hammered hard on because like with this Charlie jerk, he doesn't realize how a lot of men they have figured out and planned how to trick women into trying to get what they want because like he said that he was going to buy me like he wanted me to follow him to the restaurant, but he did that on purpose. And be and he bought my dinner, but I didn't buy much. Like I think I had like a Alfredo dish with maybe shrimp or chicken. I forgot which one. I switch it up, whatever. But it's like when he realized that I was taking the busser's side, he wasn't having that. He was like, "Oh, so I can't like he can handle it. He knows he's an R word. He knows he's nothing but an R word." And it's like I told him, and the thing is like, yeah, I didn't knock him out, but I knocked him out with words, verbally. And I think that's another reason a lot of men, and yeah, I'm talking about all men this time. A lot of men do not want a smart woman because when they're in the wrong, especially being a bigot, I'm gonna set you straight. I'm not just gonna sit there like, la 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 la. I'm just gonna let this absolute jerk bully this guy, even though he did nothing wrong, even though he's doing his job and he's doing his best. La 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 la. La. No, I'm not gonna do that mess. I'm not your girl. I'm not. No, I'm definitely never gonna be his girl. But the thing was, at the end of the dinner, he had the nerve to look at me because when he said that he was gonna like he told me to get in his car, I didn't feel safe. And it's like it's crazy. It's like I really trusted a lot of people because that was one of the times when someone else drove me to my car. Like I had to remember and figure out or to even describe because I'm so glad that person lived in that city. But they drove me back to his apartment complex. But he planned that because well, okay, what he was planning was he was he wanted me to drive to his apartment to get into his car, and then we have the whole dinner thing. But after like since he paid for my meal, it's like he got mad because he was like, "Oh, I bought you this, and you're not gonna give me um like let's just say mouth on the eggplant." And I'm just like because I was like, "Oh, you want?" I took out my wallet. I'm like, "Okay, how much was it?" And he got mad. He was just like, "What? You're acting like I can't work. You working like I did." Okay, well, now you're expecting me to pay you back for the meal, so I'm paying you back for the meal. And he was like, "No." He was like, "I want that fat behind blah." He didn't say behind either, but it's like blah blah blah. And I want that like he said this out loud at the restaurant too. And I'm just like, wow, this is a first day. But anyways, okay. A lot of men try like a lot of men expect women to date them, expect women or to allow them to use their bodies, but then when some women allow men to use their bodies, then the men call them out of their name, call them like an SLUT, a garden hoe, and all this other stuff, and just so many derogatory, awful, terrible things. But then they want to be able to have access to women, but then at the same time, they want to degrade women, hate women, hurt women, trick women, to like just it's awful, terrible, and idiotic. Which one do you like? You want a conservative, like stay at home mom, cook you dinner, have your babies, and be obedient type of woman, but then you want to treat women like they're garden hoes. Choose one lane and stay in it. Choose one lane and stay in it. Because you want us all to have low body counts, but then you want all this experience. It does not make sense. Men expect us to date them. They say that we have to date them. And with all of my screenshots, look at the screenshots that I've shown in over 300 episodes. Not every episode, but so many episodes I show you the messages that I get. But these men say or act like we're obligated. Some of these men literally tell me that, like, when they write me and I don't respond, their next message is, if I write you, you have to write me back. Or if I ask you out and you're single, you have to go out with me. What in the ham sandwich? What? These men act like we are supposed to feel safe with them, but how can we feel safe with them if we're in danger? If, like, we're in danger with them, we always have to watch our back. We can't trust them. We have to, like, and I'm not saying women are so innocent and pure and all this other stuff, but I'm just saying, when it comes to when a man forces himself on us and then we end up pregnant, they could just go and continue their life and not care. They can walk off and not care. We're the ones that walk around and bear it. We're the ones where our body is going through it. That is an emotional and physical connection. That's another thing. People put down women for having abortions. And like I said, I am pro-life for my body. For my body. But at the same time, especially if a woman is R-worded, assaulted, or whatever, or forced to have it, that's not, like, for men, there's not that, it's like there's not the same connection. And some people, like, just put it up for adoption then. When it's in your body, that is such a connection. And that's one of the hardest things a woman can do. And some people are like, well, a lot of women who end up having abortions, they have to go through therapy. Yes, they do. But then also, when I hear of women and when I talk to women who put their child up for adoption and stuff like that, that's heartbreaking for them too. And sometimes they wonder, how is the child? Or what, like, how are their first steps? What's their favorite color? Which hand do they write with? Or did they end up getting this or that from their grandma or grandpa? And Christmas, oh, I wonder what they got for Christmas. So it's like, men will never understand that, but they want to make the laws, like, against us. It's like they don't want us to be able to work certain jobs and fight wars and all this other stuff. And they want to take women off of, like, that's one of the words on the 300 list that man, ugh, like, yeah, this is the country that we're living in. This country keeps showing us that they hate us, but then Republican women keep voting for the hate. They love the hate. They don't care how we're treated. They're dropping scientific studies about women, but they don't care. It's just, he had, like, that Charles guy had an example with that woman. And that's one woman, again, strong enough to do it. Strong enough to do it. But we're in a world where we're surrounded by men that we have to be highly guarded and we can't trust. And some of them are, like, being just conniving, scheming, awful, terrible people. And then they're proud of it. And they get high fives. They go to their bros or their male friends and everything, and they brag about how inhumane they are to women, how awful they treat women. And or when they get married, it's like they're most excited about the power they will have over the woman. And I'm talking about the pastors too. Yeah, I've dated 2 or 3 pastors, and some of them are worse than non-religious men. People judge, like, Christians judge me when I date a man that's not, like, religious. I feel safer with them. I feel safer with my LGBTQ community than I do a cis male. Yes, I do. And I love you, LGBTQ, and happy Pride Month. But yes, I do. Some people want to blame Planned Parenthood when They help those, especially when they're tied on insurance and they need somewhere to go, and like either health issues. And it's like not hardly any of them are pregnancies, hardly any of them. And some of us need that place where, because remember, with my medical history, one of my, and I'm going to do a whole series on this no good, terrible doctor, a white woman too. But every time, especially even after I was in college, when I turned 18, after I had a doctor's appointment with her, she went to my mother and told her about my appointment. So next thing I know, I'm getting called into the room, getting yelled at for asking certain questions or whatever. And it's just like, what? So then I stopped going to doctor's appointments. So yeah, it's like, so, but men blame me. Men hate me for being guarded. Men hate me for always second guessing or wondering what their intentions are. I have lived through so many times of people hurting me and insulting me and treating me like I wasn't worth anything. So then I ended up dating men who didn't treat me like anything because I started knowing that I wasn't worth anything. Yes, I said knowing because I'm still going through that battle. Because I still have family members saying, oh, well, the way you walk, you'll never find anybody. The way you'll walk, you never have a job. The way you walk, like I'm still going through that. And or, oh, well, you need to start praying more, you need to start going to church more, you need, like, once you believe enough, God will bless you and you'll just be getting out of bed and walking around like normal. I was born with a disability. Hmm. But then a lot of these men, they see how I walk and some of them take advantage of it, kind of like that. Mm. I'm gonna tell yeah, yeah, let's just say I have a student who learned from that Fox News host. And it was to the point where I told him if he ever did anything to this young woman and I found out, I would go to the police and be a witness or whatever. Or if they ever had a court case. Because remember that Fox News host who deflated a woman's tire in order to get her attention and now he married her? Yeah, I had a student who went one step above that and he slashed her tire at a party or whatever because she wouldn't give him the number. So he went outside, found her car, slashed it. And so then she would need to have help, and he stayed near the door so that when she went out and came back in, he was right there ready to be her superhero, her knight in shining armor, and stuff like that. Yeah. And he bragged because that's how he got her number because since he saved the day, she felt obligated. These are the men. These are the men that we are around. We have to be careful. And it's like he was saying this story proudly. He was saying this story proudly. I'm running out of time and everything, but I'm going to tell full story episodes about other examples about how I felt unsafe and then how I hear men brag about when they force women to either give their numbers or for sexual favors and things like that. Because men, they feel so obligated for to have us. And it just drives me crazy of how they want us to be so pure and then and or they judge us or put us down because it's like, and this is a funny thing because yeah, this is what happens when you date a smart woman. My ex, he said that I was obligated to answer his questions whenever he asked them, and it was hardly ever, so I didn't really think much of it. But he would always say, what's your body count? This was like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, like while he's playing his video games or just he was just when we're alone, he was like, what's your body count? I changed the number each time because I knew, because he told me he didn't have to tell me. It was none of my business. A man's allowed to do whatever he wants to do. A man is obligated to have a high number, but a man has to keep his woman in check. And if my number changes, that means I cheated on him. So I would go up and down with the number. I didn't care. I had fun with it. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.